Hey everybody, my name is Paul Eston Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoyGreen25. And before we go any further, make sure you like the video and hit subscribe down below. Join the Boy Green Army for all New York Jets content all day, every day. Well, we're here on the channel to talk about a situation, quite frankly, you may have missed. And, well, let's just dive into it. Quinnen Williams, New York Jets defensive lineman, the former number 3 overall pick of the 2019 NFL Draft. Well, this offseason, the New York Jets exercised his fifth-year option, so he's got a couple more years left on that contract. 2 more, if we're going to be specific on what else he has left in his deal. And the conversation this offseason is, when will he get that long-term deal? Will he get that long-term deal? This offseason, for the first time in his career, he is eligible for a brand new contract extension as part of the CBA rules. Now, let's get into the controversy. Rich Cimini of ESPN has been covering the Jets for over 30 years. He has a podcast called the Flight Deck Podcast. And on this podcast, he does a couple of different bits. He takes Twitter questions and he shares insider nuggets that sometimes don't even make his articles. In his latest episode, before he went on vacation, he talked about the latest with the Quinnen Williams situation. And he had a couple of interesting nuggets to say, and I highlighted them on Twitter, which, by the way, you can follow me on Twitter at the scrolling ticker down below, at BoyGreen25. Kind of my thing is I find things all across the internet, things that insiders say, like Rich Cimini, Connor Hughes, and others, or videos from around the internet where people talk about the New York Jets, and I clip those and send them over to Twitter, and my Twitter is a nice collection plate. Plus, I have a lot of opinions, which you'll find out if you're a fan of this channel. Anywho, during this Flight Deck podcast, Rich Cimini had 2 big nuggets to share. One, the Jets have been, quote-unquote, checking in on Quinnen Williams and with his agent, Nicole Lynn, basically throughout the entire offseason. When I use those quotes, those are the verbatim quotes from Rich Cimini's podcast. I'm going to use checking in and basically throughout the entire offseason about a long-term deal. The other key point that Rich Cimini said is Quinnen Williams is probably looking at something in the $17 million to $20 million per year range. Now, we could save it for another video, whether you believe he is worth that or not. That's not the point. What happened was, though, is after I sent that out, I tweeted that out on June 24th at 6:25 p.m. Just a handful of hours later, guess who responded? None other than Quinnen Williams. And I'm going to show you what he tweeted at my tweet. And he tagged Rich Cimini and called him out. And, of course, that tweet didn't last very long. But let's bring him up on the big board here. This is of Quinnen Williams here. Quinnen Williams saying, LOL, at Rich Cimini, stop lying on Twitter. Again, this tweet did not last very long because as soon as I saw it, I just happened to be on the computer at the radio station. I get a ding on the phone. I'm like, oh, who's this? Oh, at Quinnen Williams. Oh boy, what happened here? And all of a sudden I go over to Twitter and I see this tweet that you're seeing on the screen right now. And I go, not sure how long this is going to be up. Screenshot. And wouldn't you know it, a few minutes later, Quinnen Williams deleted the tweet, but thankfully, I screenshotted it here. And again, Quinnen Williams says, LOL, at Rich Cimini, stop lying on Twitter. Now, what we need to investigate now is, after we take that off the screen, is what was he lying about, which now we're going to bring up on the other screen, the tweet that I sent out so you guys could have full context of exactly what happened here. Here is my tweet I sent out. And again, I sent this out on June 24th at 6:25. I said, the Jets have been checking in with Quinnen Williams and his agent, Nicole Lynn, basically throughout the entire offseason about a long-term deal per Rich Cimini. He said, probably you're looking at something in the $17 to $20 million range. Now, we all need to ask ourselves, what part of the tweet was the lie? Have the Jets not been checking in with Quinnen Williams throughout the offseason? Is the money totally wrong? That money, by the way, for those curious, would put Quinnen Williams around the top 5 defensive tackles, the highest paid defensive tackles in football. And again, for as many people that want to criticize that number and not believe in it, that's the number that Quinnen Williams is going to be searching for. Now, here's where we get to, well, let's address the Rich Cimini part first. To me, Obviously, I have no idea. We're purely speculating. Quinnen Williams deleted the tweet and hasn't had much Twitter interaction on his Twitter during this offseason. So that's just the truth. So what could he be lying about? Have the Jets been checking in? Joe Douglas kind of hinted at that at the NFL Combine, saying, we've been checking in with this camp. But this is where we get to the root of the decision. So Rich Cimini gets called out. Other people I know not everyone is a big fan of Rich Cimini, and some of the reasons for that is some of the criticisms that people were guessing with this tweet. Again, I have the full story down below for Heavy.com. I am the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com, so you can check out the full story, the link to this Quinnen Williams story below, where I give some more details. But a lot of people say, allegedly, not me, that Rich Cimini kind of stretches the truth, and that's perhaps what Quinnen Williams is getting at with one or the other. I will say this, that the big decision for the Jets, and we will see, we're already in the heart of the offseason here ahead of training camp, but there are two, operations that the Jets could choose to do. They pay him this offseason. They're proactive, and they say, hey, we want to pay one of our guys. We believe he's going to be a star, and that's what the Jets coaching staff and general manager has said throughout this offseason. They believe he's going to be a star. Let's just pay him now, and you know what? We're going to save a few bucks by paying him now. Or the Jets could say, you know what, Quinnen, with all due respect, you haven't proven to be Aaron Donald, Fletcher Cox, whoever your guy is, Chris Jones, whoever, DeForest Buckner, right? All the top defense tackles. They could say, hey, we'll pay you next offseason, so show up, strap up the chin strap, and we'll see you next year, and we'll pay you whatever the number is at the end of the rainbow. Just the thing I don't understand why, if it was up to me, I would pay Quinnen Williams now, is because of this. Quinnen Williams is going to be in the second year of his Robert Saleh system, which means he should be firing on all cylinders, number one. Number two, look at the talent around this guy. Carl Lawson, John Franklin Myers, Jermaine Johnson, Jacob Martin. Sheldon Rankins, boom, 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 boom. They got like 1 million defensive linemen. Look at all the talent around him. If Quinnen Williams isn't better, I would have some concerns. Of course he should be better. And if I was a betting man, and I'm betting on a guy in the second year of his system, I'm betting on a guy that has unbelievable talent around him, I would say it's a pretty good bet. Quinnen Williams is due for a big season. And thus, if you were a smart betting man, you could save a few of those pennies if you pay him right now as opposed to waiting. Because right now, I believe that figure is somewhere in the $17 to $20 million range. If you wait a year, and let's just say, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't have a crystal ball. But if Quinnen Williams has a 10-sack season, oh my. Imagine what that number is going to be. I don't think it's going to be 17 or 20 anymore. That's going to be boop, 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 boop. Aaron Donald just signed a new deal, which could completely reset the market. But, folks, that's what I would do personally. But again, it seems like the deeper we get in this offseason, it seems like the Jets are going to say, hey, prove it. And if he is this superstar interior defensive lineman, pass rusher, and everything else, then they'll say, oh, we'll happily pay the price because we know what we're getting. And that's perhaps the path that the New York Jets will take. We will see ultimately if it's the right path. What do you guys think? Make sure you comment down below and share your thoughts. Should the Jets pay Quinnen Williams out? Should they pay him later? And then what about the breadth of the video? Quinnen Williams called out Rich Cimini. He said, hey, man, stop lying, and tagged him. Of course, he deleted the tweet, but luckily old boy Green's here with the I've got a second career as a photographer. And we make sure nothing slips under the radar. Well, thanks for tuning into this quick video on a story you may have missed. And make sure you like the video if you haven't already, and just like it twice. Like, unlike it, then like it again, just for heck's sake. And make sure you hit the subscribe button for great New York Jets content. Every week here on the channel, we have live streams every Wednesday for my podcast, The Jet Zone. We also do videos just like this, plus phenomenal interviews. Jericho Cotchery, anybody? Check that on the channel as well for more great stuff. All right, thanks, everybody. We'll see you later for another future video right here on youtube.com/BoyGreen.